welcome back to another episode of Popcorn Podcast with Leigh and Tim. Another super jam-packed episode today.
It's a very exciting episode.
Really exciting.
We have lots to talk about.
We do, and like we try leading into these podcasts where we don't reveal too much to each other about what we thought of a film we've seen this week.
Yeah.
And the film we've seen this week is none other than The Lion King.
Yes, and you were really nervous about this one because Tim is a diehard Disney fan. I am too, but you really, really had all your emotions tied up in this film, didn't you?
The Lion King was my first ever memory of going to the cinema.
Aww.
So if you can cast yourself back to 1994, when I was a wee lad, and I remember going to the Cinema Miranda, and I was in the front row. I was with my cousins and my siblings.
Yep.
You know, sore neck at the end sort of thing, because that cinema, you were like at the screen. It was so damn close. And I remember just being obsessed, loving that movie. It was so funny, so enjoyable, and it's carried on having that same impact on me throughout my adult life. And so, I was nervous going into this 2019 remake.
Well, let's dive in then. What did you think?
I want you to go first.
I enjoyed it. Okay, there's been a lot of conjecture and a lot of reviews out there, I think being quite harsh. I went in with some preconceived notions of what bits to look out for and what was going to be lacking, but I tried really hard to just switch off, enjoy the story, enjoy the film for how it was, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy it.
I switched off because I was so bored.
Oh... No.
I'm so harsh. I really wanted to like this movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, and I know you agree, the movie looked spectacular. Like, it was incredible.
Visually spectacular.
Visually amazing.
The technical aspect of the animation was amazing.
Okay, so it opened well for me.
I got goosebumps.
I got goosebumps in Circle of... I've actually got goosebumps now. That song does something to me.
Yeah.
I'm just not even listening to it. I've got goosebumps thinking about it.
The music is so important.
But I think because it looked so real, that was also its biggest downfall for me, because, and how we'd got tastes of little clips in the weeks leading up that we'd commented on this podcast, the animals talking and singing and whatnot. I felt nothing when they spoke. I felt nothing when they sang.
Right.
There was no emotion. You couldn't feel anything. Everyone knows this story. Everyone knows Mufasa dies, right? It's not a spoiler. Unless it is, and sorry, but I didn't feel anything. I felt through Hans Zimmer's score, which was exactly the same, because that's what carried the emotion. That's what reminded me about what I had felt, but I wasn't feeling it again. So nostalgia was a bit of a trickster for me in this movie, because
you had that expectation.
I had that expectation, and I think it worked against me here. But it also wasn't the full reason why I didn't like it so much, is because it looked like you were watching a David Attenborough documentary. I love David Attenborough, but that's not what I went to see. I went to see a fun musical. I just can't wait to be king. Well, I kind of had to compose myself, close my eyes and take a deep breath, because it didn't have any of that pizzazz and fun that it should have had, because they made a decision. Jon Favreau and Disney and the producers, whatever, they made a decision to make this Lion King remake real to life, and it worked completely against them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. The musical numbers were turned down a few notches.
Yeah.
It wasn't as vibrant. I mean, in the cartoon, when he does I Just Can't Wait to Be King, it's this colourful production of animals dancing and synchronised movements and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was very OTT.
Yeah, so it's very much turned down.
Way down.
But on the flip side of what you were saying with the emotion, I felt the vocal performances added a lot, so long as it wasn't focusing directly on their faces. So I think throughout a lot of the film, they did a good job of not having too many close-ups of the animals, so that I think they avoided that deliberately.
Rafiki was 90% close-ups, though, because they wanted to show off the craftsmanship of...
On that, I did have an issue with Rafiki. He wasn't as unhinged as he should have been. What was that about? He was like 10% of what he should have been.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the vocal performances I quite enjoyed. So I think they were quite well done.
I agree.
However, when Mufasa dies and Simba is trying to get him to get up, the vocal performance didn't match the facial features.
How did they film this movie? Did they have motion capture?
No.
Okay.
No, it's all completely digital effects.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should know that, but I was just wondering because if they did motion capture with the actors' faces and whatnot, then what did they capture off their expression? Because there was none. Okay.
No, they did. But I mean, that's impressive in itself that they've created this entire world. Like, it's an incredible feat of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So that's very impressive.
Hardly a flaw.
It's very impressive. It was beautiful and stunning. But I think the vocal performances were enough for me most of the time. But in scenes like where he's sobbing and crying and Dad, wake up, the face is just a line.
It's just a line. You're looking at a documentary film and David Attenborough's telling you what they're feeling or thinking. It's like, that's not what I was there to witness. And I think
that's where it fell down a little bit. I think
big time.
But I think also it worked really well in terms of characters like Scar. That kind of thing, like when he was being very menacing. It works because a lion is menacing.
See, I actually, going back on what I've said and that they really messed up the musical numbers, and majority of the time they did, the only one that for whatever reason really worked was Be Prepared. But I had a friend who thought completely the opposite.
Really?
And I've thought about that number itself and I thought it was communicated beautifully. It didn't have all the choreography and whatnot. And I think that really played well with who Scar was, who the hyenas were and whatnot.
I did take issue on that point with the hyenas as well. They were not as unhinged as...
No. They toned it down a lot. I think they forgot that they were making a Disney film. And this is another issue that I have, among many. They fucking made a shot for shot. It was almost identical to the animation. So if you're going to expect an audience to come in and literally re-watch The Lion King, just it looking prettier, then you have to make it at that same level of musical nuance and high octane energy. If they weren't going to do that, which they didn't, then add some different flavors to it. Do something different. You know, they basically copied and pasted the script. They copied and pasted the shots. And I say that without having them next to each other, but it's so ingrained in my mind that it felt so familiar that it did feel like I was just watching the animated movie, but I was endlessly bored.
Oh dear.
I was so flat leaving. I was so flat. I went through all these stages of emotion. It started big with Circle Life, like I said.
Yeah.
Then when you got to start getting the flavour of the characters and how they would communicate to each other or not because their faces wouldn't move. And then Can't Wait to Be King. And then I just started getting bored and unimpressed. And then I was really sad.
Oh.
And then I kind of got angry.
Oh.
I think I might be less angry now.
Well, they succeeded in making you feel something.
They made me feel something, but all the wrong things. Let's hear some more positive stuff from you, Leigh.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised. There was a lot of good stuff in there, and I think I found it easy to get lost in the story, as I said, when it wasn't a particularly emotive scene. Anyone who has empathy for animals or has a pet maybe can see the nuances in an animal's eyes.
Yeah.
So that didn't bother me. I could see the subtleness. But when it needed to really hit you over the head, as I said with Simba and Mufasa, it wasn't there. I'll agree with you that. My biggest issue was with the pacing of it, or the way it was laid out. In that scene was really quick.
Which one?
When Simba is trying to get Mufasa up.
Oh yeah.
We didn't feel that enough. They didn't spend enough time on that. And then also when Nala's reunited with Simba, when she finds him, that was just so fast.
Yeah, it was quick.
And I don't think it's that fast in the animation, is it? It's like she was there and they were suddenly best friends again, and then they did Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And I thought, what?
Which was ruined.
What? Yeah, that did sound bad. I actually did not enjoy that one.
Were they singing? Okay, this might be harsh, but it was almost like Beyonce didn't think she was singing with anyone else. She was literally taking over the song, and she was trilling in every other lyric. And, just turn it down. You don't need to trill. The song is so beautiful. It just went too far.
The word out of the reviews is that Beyonce was miscast. I don't know about that. A lot of the time I thought she was a good fit for Nala, and that she had that sort of regalness to her voice and that more mature thing. But there was some moments when I thought, like I didn't think she matched with Donald Glover as Simba, who I thought was perfect.
Yeah. He was great. He was really, really good. And he brought a different sound to the voice of Simba, I think. Yeah, Beyonce was distracting.
It was distracting. But again, getting back to that, the pacing of it, there was also so much of Nala fighting at the end, which I'm all for her. I felt like it was like Simba hardly fought Scar, and it was all just Nala kicking ass with the pride, which was really great.
Yeah, I didn't notice that until...
Yeah, I feel like that's a change they've made to update the movie, maybe for modern audiences, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I just felt like, in Animal Kingdom, you maybe don't need to do that. Let Simba take the lead.
Right, yeah. There were a lot of hyenas.
There were a lot of hyenas, but it was a lot of her fighting.
Yeah, interesting. I think that would have been a choice that they made consciously.
Yeah, definitely.
To do that. I didn't notice that. That obviously didn't bother me.
I only noticed it so much because it felt wrong in comparison to how much time Simba got with his battle with Scar.
Yeah.
Which should have been the main event.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
What about Timon and Pumbaa?
I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah, me too.
Timon and Pumbaa.
I think they injected a bit of life into a movie that I literally cast away by that point.
And everybody was hating Pumbaa and the design of Pumbaa. I thought it was great. He's a warthog. He's ugly. It's the way it is.
Yeah. Again, their technical prowess was their biggest downfall, and I think that was just... The ripples were felt all the way through.
You didn't enjoy how accurate...
No, I did. I appreciated it, but that's not what, in my humble opinion, I don't think that's the direction they should have gone to that length with this musical. Yeah, unfortunately.
So overall, you were disappointed.
I was disappointed.
Overall, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, which is good. A happy medium there, I think.
Okay, we're back to disagreeing. The way it should be.
Yeah. Well, at least we bring something different to the film. But you know what? I think this movie will definitely divide people, and you alluded to that earlier, where a lot of the reviews have been quite negative.
Yeah.
And I hope that Leigh and I have been able to offer our own opinions here, and that's what they are. They are opinions. Yeah. And everyone's got this love for this film, whether they grew up with it or revisit it later on in their life.
I will say, in terms of all the, the downfalls of this film, I did say this to you earlier, but in the cinema, children were sobbing. Which
is quite beautiful. But
vocally sobbing when Mufasa died. Like, I was sitting next to a few little kids who weren't that young, but they were sobbing their little hearts out. So the film is going to hit audiences the way it hit us. For younger audiences, definitely.
I'm really glad to hear that, because I didn't feel that, but I'm glad that it's the audience of young kids are feeling something with this film. And I say that from the lens that I'm glad that this movie is evoking that for them, because it did for us in the animation, and I don't think I got that again.
Well, the things that made the animation great, the basic principles, the story, the music, that's all there.
It is all there.
The visual feast is just very different. Yeah. It's a very different dinner.
Slimy, but not quite satisfying for me. Is that our new way of gauging, throwing out the popcorn kernels?
Yeah, no, give me your popcorn kernels.
I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ooh.
No, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry, actually.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 4.
Oof.
Because the technical aspect of the filmmaking was fantastic. The story was there. They didn't do anything new with it. They didn't,
I think they should have done something new, given their choices.
I disagree. I think they did the right thing, because people are so invested in this story. If they'd gone in a different direction, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
So I think they've done the right thing, keeping to the story, the original story, and the music and all that kind of thing. But
we want to hear what you think.
Yes.
So when we post this in the comments of Instagram, at Popcorn Podcast is our handle, and Facebook on our own personal accounts, please let us know what you thought.
We want to know.
We want to know. Like, are you on my side or Lee's side or somewhere in between, or way off?
We're making it a side thing, are we?
Yeah, I want to tally. I want to be able to come back next week and say I won.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, let's move on to the other big new releases of the week. There's not a lot out this week. Because The Lion King's obviously taking centre stage.
Yeah, taking a lot of bums on seats.
Yeah. So The White Crow, which was directed by Ralph Fiennes, about a ballet dancer who defects to the West from the USSR, so it's based on a true story. Apollo 11 for the 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
I feel like it was the 40th anniversary yesterday. This is kind of like crept up, like goodbye decade that was. So how did we get here? That's pretty exciting, actually.
Yeah. And Sink or Swim, which this movie gives you the heebie-jeebies, doesn't it, Tim?
Oh, yeah, no.
About a depressed man who joins a men's synchronised swimming team.
Yeah, Rob Brydon, who is great, I've said before, but yeah, I think I might stay away from this film. Don't expect that review on our podcast. This is really great, Leigh. What's happened with ILM?
So Industrial Light and Magic are opening a permanent Sydney base, and the priority is going to be to finish production on the last Star Wars movie. So Industrial Light and Magic is a production company that founded by George Lucas.
It's his baby, yeah. And they have been responsible for CGI for basically like all the big blockbusters.
Yeah. So it's going to be really exciting that they're going to have a permanent base in Sydney.
It's going to create like 500 jobs, apparently.
Yeah, heaps. And they're going to create training programs in post-production to train people up. It's very exciting. It's going to make Sydney a really exciting hub for film. Yeah,
I think Australia is really fighting hard to bring films to our shores, and can prove that we've got the facilities, the skills, and the experience behind us to convert really great projects.
It might eventually reinvigorate Fox Studios, which I would be really excited about, because that was a great opportunity that just sort of dwindled away.
I think Star Wars has been a real support of the Australian film industry, because the last two of the prequel movies were filmed here, I think.
But it's great that they're going to have a permanent base now.
Yeah.
So this is funny, Tim. You called this.
I did.
Sonic the Hedgehog has pushed its release date officially now back to April from January because of the controversy surrounding the design. So you might recall when the first look, it was first a poster. People had things to say about Sonic's muscly legs, and like it was basically just a silhouette, and everyone was like, what's going on? It was too human.
Too human. And then the trailer came out and everyone went up in arms. Yeah. It was like 2 or 3 days when the director came out and said, oops. We've heard your feedback. Yeah, a bit of fucking oops. Probably like a $20 million oops.
Yeah.
And they're going to pull back and redesign Sonic, but they were holding firm on their release date. Here we are. They're not. They can't deliver it by Christmas or November or whenever it was. January. Yeah. We'll see it around Easter.
Yep. San Diego Comic-Con is happening at the moment.
Right now.
As we speak, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming out. One of them is that
oh my god,
Edward Furlong will be returning to the Terminator Dark Fate.
I just got the same chills from Circle of Life as when you said that out loud. Yeah. This is fucking huge. Yeah. This is so good.
Because we've got Linda Hamilton back, which is fucking amazing. Yeah. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course.
So Edward Furlong was the John Connor in Terminator 2 Judgment Day from 91. And he has never reprised the role of John Connor since, and there's been a few Terminator films. They're ignoring all of that. This Terminator Dark Fate is a direct sequel. Mm-hmm. So they're bringing him back, and I think it's just so... it's like poetic justice to me.
Yeah, it's great.
We have waited, and we deserve this.
Yes.
Him to come back, and he deserves it as well. He's had a bit of a rough patch for 25 years or more, 30.
I don't know. It's going to be good to have him back. But also happening at SDCC is big Marvel announcements to do with Phase 4.
Yeah.
The timing's a bit off for our recording of the podcast, unfortunately, so we're going to have to talk about it next week.
Yeah, we may be living in the future in Australia, but we still don't have all the answers. We've got to wait.
So the Phase 4 panel is going to be really exciting. We can't wait to see what comes out of that. One thing that has already leaked is that Taika Waititi is going to be...
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I was waiting for you to like...
Did you think I had some...
I thought you had something new, and I was going to be angry and excited that you kept it from me.
Well, it is new, but Taika Waititi is returning as director of Thor 4.
Yeah, and he's also going to write the script, which he didn't write Ragnarok.
No, but
which I thought he had, but
it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
I can't
really
wait.
Good.
I can't
so
wait.
it's what fans want. I think it's what the MCU need to keep his tone and his particular way of filmmaking. And Thor Ragnarok was so well received. I think it's a really good move to keep him in the chair.
I hope they give us the name of the film soon though, because I can't keep going Thor 4.
On that point, what do you think is going to come out of the Phase 4 panel then?
Well, I think we'll hear about the Eternals.
We'll know when because we've got release dates, but not aligned to films.
No, we're not going to. Well, hopefully they'll map out what Phase 4 is going to look like.
Maybe a few casting announcements, maybe.
Yeah,
They've made a few, but that should be cool. I want to know more about the Black Widow movie and Black Panther 2, and I want maybe them to tease that there might be another Avengers in there in whatever iteration. But
I'm wondering whether the Loki series is going to turn into a Loki film.
You reckon?
I've heard whispers.
Okay, that's good.
But we'll see.
He'll bring a crowd.
We'll see.
Okay, only rumours that exist within our minds, so we'll come back to you on the actual legit truth.
Yeah. After last week's talk about who's going to be playing Elvis in Baz Luhrmann's biopic, we have Austin Butler.
We were both wrong.
But
just looking at him, he looks a lot like Elvis, and I didn't actually see it until it came out in the press. But yeah, I'm open to it. I think this is...
It's going to be a great film, and
Baz is great at casting.
Yeah, and he's starring alongside Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager. Yeah, which Tom Hanks just winner.
Oh,
put him in your movie, and it's a winner.
I'm really excited that he is in a Baz Luhrmann film, because you wouldn't pair them up, would you?
No, I guess not. But also, why hasn't it happened yet?
Well, exactly. But Baz doesn't make movies very often. 2013 was his last feature, and that was Gatsby, Great Gatsby. Because he went off and made that Netflix series. Tom
Hanks has a good eye for musical films as well, because he directed that Thing You Do.
Oh.
You remember that?
No.
You don't remember that film?
Nope.
Okay, well, never mind then.
I'll put that on my list.
Yeah,
Has Tom Hanks been in a musical before?
Yeah.
What? Oh, That Thing You'll Do.
That Thing You Do.
Okay, I need to look that up. It's not ringing a bell.
It's a music film, it's not really a musical. But
okay.
I don't think this film's going to be a musical either, is it? It's going to be a...
It should be a biopic.
Biopic.
Still unsure.
Anyway, now that Harry Styles is off the table for Elvis...
Yeah, his manager's hustling.
Yeah, and there's talks of him being Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid. Oh.
I feel much more comfortable with that than him potentially playing Elvis. You clearly don't.
I think in the way that you were attached to The Lion King...
Okay.
I was every little girl had a crush on Prince Eric. And I just feel like he needs to be a bit more butch, maybe.
Well, maybe he's going to hit the gym.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, he's covered in tats too. Well, I mean, that's fine. They'll just cover that up. But actually, I'd like to see Prince Eric with tats. Then I'll sit up and listen. All right. I'm probably going to be the one that's going to froth over The Little Mermaid, and you're going to be, it wasn't met my expectations. Well, English, that didn't make sense.
Why am I
I don't know.
That was me.
You're an old lady.
That was me.
Oh, God. I put accents on when they're not necessary. This is really... The story of Mattel's Barbie film has kind of gone in all these different directions. It's currently... sitting with Greta Gerwig, who's an indie darling. She's gonna write and direct it, starring Margot Robbie. Barbie was originally attached to Amy Schumer, was going to play Barbie, and then it had changed from Sony to Universal. It got shopped around, and then it was going to be Anne Hathaway as Barbie. So now it's changed again. So it's the third.
I like Margot Robbie as Barbie.
I think it would be great. Because Amy Schumer, I think, was going to portray a very different kind of Barbie. Margot Robbie is very gorgeous. She looks like Barbie.
But I think having Greta Gerwig attached is going to make it a more interesting film.
Oh, without a doubt.
Not that it wouldn't be interesting with Margot Robbie attached, but I just mean it won't be as superficial as what it could be. It could stray into dangerous territory.
Yeah.
And I think having Greta Gerwig there, she's got a good eye for what women want to see in the cinema, and I think she'll take it in a good direction. And Margot has been a real loud voice on projects for women, and this is going to be produced through her production company as well. Yeah, so she's a producer on the project. We jumped ahead from The Little Mermaid, but jumping back to it, or splashing back to it.
I'm living
today.
for these puns.
I'm here for the puns today. Someone's in talk to play King Triton.
Yeah,
who's going to be playing King Triton?
King Triton. So we're swimming around the casting of Javier Bardem. I'm so sorry. Javier Bardem, which will be great. Interesting. And because Rob Marshall is directing this film, he's worked with Javier Bardem
on Pirates of the
Caribbean. So there's a relationship there. So that's no real surprise. But yeah, this excites me. It's a very diverse cast already, and this is just another notch in the belt.
We need Ursula to be confirmed.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're gonna.
Melissa?
Yeah.
You think it's locked in?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous, but I'm less nervous now that I've just let it sizzle. Let it float to the top. Okay. This just came out of Comic-Con as well this morning. So Jamie Lee Curtis will be returning for not one, but two new Halloween films, which will be released back-to-back in 2020, 2021. We've got director David Gordon Green returning as well. He helmed the Halloween sequel, which came out in 2018.
Which was amazing, and I'm nervous because I don't know that we need two more.
Yeah. I don't know if we need them to be called Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. They're the names that they've given them.
The working titles.
Halloween Kills is just cringe, but Halloween Ends is eye-rolling because the movies never fucking end. They're going to keep making them. Yeah. So don't trick us and call it Halloween Ends.
It'll be like John Farnham's career when he does a farewell to the world. Farewell to Halloween. No, just kidding.
I'm just kidding. He's back. God. Yeah. But we love John Farnham. He can keep coming back. That's fine. Do you say we don't think we need two?
I don't think we need two more. I mean, I don't think we need one more, but I'll have one more, but I don't think we need two. It's a bit much. So there was a bit of controversy this week about Bond being an African-American woman.
Yeah. It was a bit of a clickbait.
Because she's not Bond.
She's not.
007.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
So we believe that, and I'm actually a little bit annoyed that this has come out because it would have been a really nice moment in the film that no one knew was happening.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's going to play a huge part. And I'm confused as to whether it was leaked. Well, I wouldn't be confused if it was leaked. Or it was actually a PR choice of the producers and whatever.
They've made a lot of interesting PR choices with this film, and I think they're just trying to...
They're just trying to spin a good story because it's all been bad.
Yeah.
Well, this backfired because... And I think it was the way they communicated it. So our understanding is that Bond is retired. James Bond's retired. And he gets brought back in to the mix, to the fold of MI6 yada. Like that's not a new narrative plot point, but that's what we're going with. And he returns to MI6 and his 007 handle has been
taken by
someone else who happens to be an African-American woman.
Yeah. What's the
and
issue?
I would have liked to have that played out in the movie.
And been surprised
and been a surprise. I don't know then where that goes. Does he get his 007 handle back?
We'll see.
Like, what happened? So there's a few questions. But everyone was up in arms thinking that the next Bond was going to hand over to a woman, and then everyone's like, Bond can never be a woman, and everyone just got up on their high horses. But it was,
Anyway, we'll see when it comes out. We need to move on to trailers because we have
a list and a half.
We have some trailers to unpack that were really exciting. So you're not a big fan of the Kingsman series. However,
this trailer
does it look great, doesn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah. I like the Kingsman movies.
That hurts to say.
I know, you don't like them, but I like the Kingsman movies.
Oh, I know. I like the first Kingsman movie. I didn't like Golden Circle.
Right, okay.
Yeah, clarity there.
So we got a trailer for The King's Man.
Yeah.
And it's the beginning of the Kingsman Secret Service, and it seems like a more serious film.
Very.
Which, it looks great. It's action-packed. It's got Ralph Fiennes starring.
Yeah.
I'm really into it.
It looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's a movie no one asked for or could expect, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be really interesting how they introduce how the Kingsman came to be.
Yeah.
And I love a period movie anyway, so I think this is set around World War One.
One I'm super here for is Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Love Top Gun. I'm from that Top Gun era. Yeah. And I love a Tom Cruise movie.
Me too.
Give me a Tom Cruise movie any day because of the effort he puts in, the work ethic he has. Yeah. I admire it. I love it.
What do you think of the trailer?
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
As soon as the music starts, as soon as you see the plane take off, that gong, it just is everything. I'm not sold on the story. I'm not sure what the story is.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a new generation, but the visuals, the planes, the action is just going to be...
It's going to look
fantastic.
fantastic.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, they focused a lot on Tom, obviously.
And in the trailer, I love that they gave us that scene of him riding on his motorbike alongside the plane, and he gave this coy little smile
Yeah.
I'm still doing this.
No, I do love that, and this is where it's dangerous territory to tread around. Nostalgia, it's kind of been the theme of the podcast today. But you can, if done right, you can have a lot of fun with it, and you can make it work. And for some, as cheesy as that was in the trailer, it's worked.
Yes.
You know, the unveiling of the bike.
Yeah.
You know, like, where has it been this whole time? Has he not driven it since the 80s? Like, I don't know. It was kind of...
No, I think Tom's very aware of that as well. He knows how to make a good film. He knows what the audience wants. Him and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, they're very tuned in to what their audiences want.
Is that your way of squeezing in The Rock?
Yeah, I'm squeezing in The Rock. I'm always squeezing in The Rock.
I can't believe you compared The Rock to Tom Cruise.
I've done that before. We've discussed this before.
Yeah, I can't believe you've done it again.
In terms of work ethic and their understanding of what an audience wants, they're on the ball. They're on money.
I totally agree with you.
Okay, explain to me, what the fuck is digital fur technology?
Okay, so we are going to unpack Cats.
Cats.
The musical everyone loves to hate.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's very vocal about
Cats. It's the most successful musical of all time.
Is it the most successful?
It's close to it.
It's one of.
It's one of the longest running.
It is. Until Les Mis and Phantom took over it was on Broadway, West End for the longest time. It held records.
I don't know how this works as a movie.
Yeah. The director of Les Mis is at the helm. Mm-hmm. So that is exciting for me. But yeah, this digital fur technology, because...
Everybody looks bizarre. I mean, they look like human cats. I mean, human cats are a bizarre concept in the first place, but it works on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know that it works in a film.
The stage production is so well known for its costumes and its makeup. And I think that this movie...
It's trying to recreate it digitally.
Yeah. And they have recreated it digitally, but I think I don't know, there's that element missing, which maybe they did screen test and it really didn't look good and it was going to be, like, wrong.
So they went with this direction.
Yeah. But I always feel, this could be unpacking a bit, but, you know, actors working with CGI and, you know, not real sets and tangible things. If I was an actor and I was trying to portray a cat and you're just in your Lorna Jane activewear without any fur or any indication that you're a damn cat because... you know, post-production are going to sort it out for you, don't worry. You're not really going to... Are you really going to feel like a cat or really be able to get into that place?
I will say in the trailer, the movements look beautiful. I think it's going to look pretty and very...
It's a dance
elegant.
musical.
Yes, I think the dancing is going to look very elegant. It's going to look very pretty. People's faces are doing a good job. The acting seems like a good job. But I think this is going to be a lesson in jumping on the bandwagon or the perils of jumping on the bandwagon, whereas some films... like this Disney live-action remake.
Right.
Where The Lion King's sort of fallen down. In the same sense that now everyone's making films about musicals. This very well might be the one that everyone goes, okay, enough now.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very successful.
Cats it has a very unique audience too. Very musical theatre audience.
I have no idea how
it might end up alienating people.
What do you think about the set? It looked like a set. It did not look real, and they've made the beds bigger and the chairs bigger, and they're kind of like playing around. But
it would have been really fun for the actors.
Totally. I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. It just, it's awkward for me. Yeah. I watched it like 5 times, the trailer, and they had like a little behind the scenes.
What did you think of Jennifer Hudson's memories?
Oh, too much.
It didn't hit the right note for me.
Do you... These puns are going too far. Oh, God help us. We want to retain listeners, Lee. We don't want to push them away. Yeah, no, I wasn't really feeling that.
Yeah. Let's move on to...
Okay, sure.
It Chapter 2.
Another brilliant trailer.
I'm really excited about this one. The first It film with Tim Curry scared the crap out of me. It really affected me as a kid. It Chapter 1... didn't affect me as much. It was a very good film. I liked it, but it didn't affect me as much. I'm hoping having the adult cast involved now, and based on the trailer, it looks like it's upping the scare factor.
Yeah, it looks really terrifying.
So I'm hoping it's going to be a lot scarier.
Yeah. I found it really creepy. So I think they're going to be playing in that space again. Excuse me, because they nailed that. But this looks more terrifying, like you said. Yeah. So creepy plus turning up the terror a notch or two. The adult cast is just perfect. Yeah. So I'm all for it as well.
Yeah. What other trailers?
We had Hustlers.
Hustlers.
Which is Jennifer Lopez film. Yeah, look, I'm not really vibing that too much.
I'm into this because I do pole dancing.
Oh.
And so I'm actually...
For you.
I think, I think I'm going to really enjoy seeing that on screen. It's very impressive.
Like the sport of pole dancing.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
It's hard. So I'm quite impressed seeing J-Lo. She's got some core strength, let me tell you.
She's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, J-Lo movies have a certain tone to them.
Yeah.
I reckon. This could be a
this
bit
one's also
of fun.
got Cardi B in it. It's going to be a very specific movie.
Yeah. We also have a second trailer for Ad Astra, the Brad Pitt-based movie. This is a really different trailer to the first one that they dropped a little while ago. Well, actually, not that long ago. I feel like this movie, they're really playing on the drama and, like, the story, and it's a lot at stake. Yeah,
a lot more going on.
It's very serious. I feel like the first trailer played a bit more of the action in the special effects. This one was much more character focused, which makes me wonder, like, what is this film? What is the tone of this film? Not that it's confusing, but it's now identified that it's got a lot more layers to it than once thought. Yeah, I'm really curious. Really, really curious about this movie. And we also have
Playing with Fire.
Yeah, this god awful. Oh god, it's like
it's a cookie cutter film starring John Cena.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Vin Diesel film, The Pacifier, where they've got to look up... Or the Rock
film, The Tooth Fairy.
The Tooth Fairy. It is literally like cut, paste. It's the same shit. Yeah. Shit being the prominent word there.
A guy having to deal with kids.
Yeah. They're all firefighters, but it's very slapstick. So these movies have a place. Yeah. They do. And they're like escapist kid, like purely targeted at kids.
Yeah, and the premise is always very far-fetched. Like,
totally.
How do these people end up with kids?
But this movie is literally 2.5 minutes of terrible writing and bad jokes. But yeah, take your little ones to that, I reckon, but nothing particularly interesting to share.
So there is a theme to next week's films.
Yeah.
The film's coming out next week on July 25th. We've got The Keeper, which is based on the true story of Bert Trautmann, a German prisoner of war who played for Manchester United and fell in love with the team manager's English daughter. We also have Diego Maradona, which is a biopic based on one of the greatest footballers from the 80s, Diego Maradona, obviously. This one's directed by Asif Kapadia, who did the Amy Winehouse doco, so I think that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
But again, a very specific audience. It's all football fans next week.
So are they doing a double bill, or football fans go Saturday, Sunday, see these two movies?
And then Apocalypse Now.
Final cut, so a remastered 3-hour version to celebrate the 40th anniversary.
Yeah. Which also fits into the same generation as Diego Maradona.
And it's similar.
It's a very similar... It's a very specific audience that's going to enjoy the movies coming out next week.
It's a bit light on. I guess no one really wanted to schedule a bigger film around The Lion King. Yeah, The Lion King's got centre stage. Yeah. The Lion King could make a butt ton of money, but I have a feeling that it's gonna open big worldwide, but then it will literally taper off at the end, because I think the feeling around this movie is not positive enough for people who weren't sure whether they're going to see it or not will actually go. They just won't. And I don't really see people going to see it more than once either. So I'm going to call it now. I don't think it's going to crack $1 billion. If it does, then...
Well, I disagree. I think people are going to enjoy it. It's got its problems, it's got its flaws, but I think it's enough. It's done enough to really pull in that specific family audience. So I think I was, as I said, pleasantly surprised.
Definitely draw the family audience. You're right.
Yeah.
Well. There we are.
That was a massive episode.
That was huge. Lots to talk about there, so thank you for tuning in. Next week we will unpack more of Comic-Con.
Yep.
We'll talk all things Marvel, which we're on the edge of our seat to do.
Yes.
And don't forget to subscribe and rate our podcast.
Yes, please.
Follow us on Instagram at Popcorn Podcast.
Yes, please.
And please share your thoughts on the films that you're seeing at the moment.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. Wait, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, whose side are you on?
Oh, yeah.
We want to know whose side you're on.
That's really the most important takeout from this.
Yeah.
Leigh or Tim. Ding, 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 round one.
Yeah.
Catch you next time.
Bye.